So, Mark, you just got back from Las Vegas visiting for the Super Bowl, except you ditched town before the big game. What the heck was that about?
I mean, the heartbreak was still deep from the Lions choking away their first Super Bowl berth. I just wanted to get out of town, get home. Didn't want to burn an extra day of vacation and all that stuff, for a game that I just didn't care about anymore. But I had a great time that weekend. Got to see a whole bunch of things. Being in a Super Bowl city when the Super Bowl's happening, as well as the Super Bowl weekend in Vegas, two big things colliding at once. It was pretty cool.
The one thing you didn't do is dance at the Sand Dollar. I would love to see your best Sand Dollar dance impression.
Oh, we'll have to save that for when I have like 7 beers in me, and then I'll give you a go.
So you came to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl weekend, stayed at Resorts World at the Conrad. How was it?
Yeah, this was my second time staying there. I stayed at the Conrad when it first opened, like opening weekend. It was supposed to be at Crockford's, but they didn't have it open in time, so I got bumped to Conrad. So I kind of knew what to expect from the room. It was pretty much the same as the room I had the first time, just with 2 beds this time instead of one. It is what it is. It's nice, decent. It just feels like a business hotel that you would find in New York, sterile, business, nice hotel, but not really the Conrad feel that you get at other Conrads, not the dark woods and the nice finishes. And it feels more like a Hilton than a Conrad. If you're into hotels, then you know what that means. But check-in experience was good. There's nobody in line. I tried to check it on the app before just in case it was really busy. That didn't work. It kept erroring out at the end. But I walked right up to the desk, got my stuff, was told where to use the credits, which of course didn't work out well. Have you ever stayed at Resorts World and had your Hilton credits applied properly? Or is it just me?
I haven't stayed there in a couple of years since they opened, but I have not. Always a problem there. I got to go inside your Conrad room. I've stayed at Conrad before. I hadn't been in the room in a couple of years. It is totally uninspired, in my opinion, but nice, right? It's just a very uninspired, nice hotel room, meaning it's not dirty. You're not going to have any real offense to it. It's fine, but it's not special in any way.
Yeah, and that's what you're kind of looking for in Vegas. Like if you were staying in any other city in the US, you'd be like, hey, this is a great hotel room. But when you're in Vegas, you expect those touches, a little bit over the top, a little bit nicer finishes, just something that's cool about the room, something that kind of is like, oh, you'd only find this in Vegas. And they just didn't pull that off at all. And they could have with some simple things, an accent on the wall or some artwork or something along those lines. It just kind of was like, hey, let's copy and paste what we do in other places and get this up and running. So that's kind of sad to see because I think it had potential. I like the room setup. I mean, it's big, it's spacious. You don't feel cramped at all. The bathroom's a good size. So you have all that going for you. You got a little fridge set up for you, a coffee maker. So you get most of what you want. Like you said, uninspired.
And you book with points, correct? For such a busy weekend, that's pretty good.
80K a night. It was Super Bowl weekend. It was going for right around 900,000 bucks a night. So it's good to use. Usually you can get them that room for like 50,000, I think, 50 to 60,000, depending on the time of year and what the price is. But it was worth it for the event going on that weekend. Would I pay 80K normally? No, I would not. But for Super Bowl weekend, it was worth it.
So hanging out on the North Strip, and obviously you got to try Fontainebleau for the first time. And you got to spend a couple days in there. Did your status match? Got to eat a couple meals. What was your first sort of takeaway from Fontainebleau?
I've been wanting to really love this place since we saw the first videos and pictures and all that stuff, and it looks beautiful. And I've heard what other people have said about it. You walk in, you're like, oh, this looks nice. Everything looks nice. Curves everywhere. Just the accents and everything. That center bar is gorgeous. It's really beautiful. It's well done. It's missing like a soul. And I think everybody's kind of commented on that. It doesn't really feel right. And it doesn't feel personable in any way. And I don't know, you've mentioned the lighting of it with the very bright lights. I think that does play a role if they change those to like a blue for Fontainebleau, something to soften it a bit or even added a little bit of show or flavor to it. I think that would help. But even like the restaurants, they're closed off. All the doors are closed. You can't really see it. You're not involved in that at all. So as you walk by, you don't even know if some are open or not. You have to open the door and peek in, and it just doesn't feel very approachable. And I had a problem picking a restaurant because I had to go to each door and open it and look inside to see what it looks like. It just felt weird. And even people leaving the restaurant come out and they go, oh, and they put their hands up because they're all the restaurants have a vibe and are dark and look mostly nice, and then you come out and it's just really bright and shocking when you go back into the main casino.
Yeah, very sterile is how I would describe it and how we kind of came to terms with it. Now, you ate at Mother Wolf on one night for dinner. How was that?
Yeah, I sat at the bar there. It was really busy, and I ordered. I'm probably gonna murder, but cacio pepe, which I've had in Rome. It's a Roman dish and kind of a specialty, and I really loved it there. So I wanted to see, our Italian friend says, don't eat it outside of Rome. Don't even eat it in other parts of Italy because Rome is the only one that really does it right. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll give the American version a try. And it was okay. If I had never been to Italy and had it there, I probably would have liked it more. But I mean, the noodles were a bit firm, thicker. I don't know if that's the right type of noodle to use for that dish. And then the portion was very small. Like it was almost looked like a side dish when it came out, and it was like $30 somewhere around there. So for two Italian bottled beers, they only had three beers as an option. They're all Italian. And then that dish with tip and everything, taxes, it was just under $70, which I think is way too much for a side dish of noodles essentially and two beers. Oh, if it was, $17, it probably would have been worth it. But yeah, just the whole experience there wasn't over the top great.
We talked on a previous show how you went to Hard Rock or Mirage. You matched your Caesars Plus status, got icon status there, then went to Fontainebleau and matched to their gold status. That comes with a $150 dining credit, and we used that for breakfast slash brunch at Vida. I had matzo ball soup and a bagel with lox. Very expensive, decent, but again, the portions weren't very good.
The presentation of your bagel with all the fix-ins was kind of cool. They brought it out on the plate so you could make it yourself a bit. I like that. I had a couple mimosas, fish and chips. The fish was pretty good, but it didn't have a lot of flavor. The batter didn't have a lot of flavor, so it just goes kind of run of the mill to me. And then got a side of bacon, which was okay. But the bill was like, just for that was 120 some dollars, which I don't know, if you're staying there and you're eating there, you're going to be broke, is what I gathered from a couple visits to the restaurants.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a great value meal. It was fine. We were trying to use the credit. Everything tasted okay and good. The bagel was pretty good, nothing crazy.
We both talked about how beautiful the restaurant was. It was like their breakfasty main type place, but they had a cool center bar set up there. Looked really nice, really beautiful. And that's what I'll say about Fontainebleau. Like all the restaurants I looked into looked really well done. You can't complain about the construction aspect of it. Even the food court had tons of seats. Maybe the only food court in Vegas that has enough seating for the people coming through there. But service was a little bit slow in Vida, but everybody was nice. The build is really, really well done, I think, everywhere that I saw.
Yeah, Vida in particular is probably the nicest coffee shop decor wise in all of Las Vegas. It's beautiful. What a beautiful space and restaurant. Now, you got to try out while you were on the north end of the strip, Bagelmania as well. They have great bagels, those awesome handles that are shaped like bagels, cool architecture. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. They have the donuts in there too, like over the top crazy donuts. It wasn't really busy. I went there on Sunday morning before the Super Bowl, walked over, checked it out, been hearing you talk about it for years and years, and I've always wanted to get up there. So walked over there. That's really cool. I mean, if you're at Wynn, Encore, Resorts World, Circus, Fontainebleau, you can actually walk to it. It's not too bad. Pretty straight shot from all those places. So went in. I will say it was a little bit slow. There was only one person in front of me. It still took me 10 or 15 minutes to get my bagel, and it kind of got backed up a bit. But the bagel was really good. The cream cheese, I got just cream cheese with chives. It was awesome. Sat outside there and ate it real quick, and I'll definitely go back. It's a bit on the pricey side for a bagel, but that's kind of Vegas, and I think it's worth it.
A few other takeaways from the cool things we did that weekend. We met some friends at Sahara, and you got to see what Sahara looks like now. All of the renovations to the casino. Pretty nice, right? I'm not lying about that.
Yeah, I think the entryway going in there, what they redid there is really beautiful. And like we even commented as we were walking down there, because we made the walk from Resorts World down to Sahara, and you can see Fontainebleau's entryway. It looks like it would be nice, but it's kind of like in a weird spot and off to the side, and most people probably never even see it. And the entrance off the strip just doesn't really do much. There's like a car sitting there. It kind of misses the spot where Sahara, you walk up, that's the main thing everybody's going to see when they're coming in, if they're walking in. And I think they did a really amazing job there. So they set the tone with that. The bar right off to the side of the casino, even though it was closed for us for a private event, was really, really beautiful looking. And the whole casino, like if that was in the middle of the strip, I think it would be a really popular casino. It's just kind of the location takes away from it. And I don't know, the food, we didn't spend a ton of time checking out restaurants or anything like that, but I really liked the casino area, and everything looked well done and nicer than you would expect.
Yeah, I want to reiterate how good of a job they did with the renovations there. And they do have some really good restaurants there as well. give it a try. Head up there on your next visit and just see. It'll be nicer than you think it is if you haven't been there in a long time. That's all I got to say. We also got to finally eat at Golden Steer, and that was quite the experience. Obviously, it's something that's built up for a long time, very famous in Las Vegas. So many people have been there, and now you have.
Yeah, and it's funny, you drive up to it and it doesn't look like anything that you're going to be excited about. It's in a strip mall, a little bit like an older strip mall, not even like a nice new strip mall, and you see the sign. And I likened it to like Batista's hole in the wall, that similar type of feel when you drive a little bit nicer, like the pavement's not cracking everywhere, but it kind of gives you that feel. And then you open it up. The bar area is just kind of like a standard bar, nothing special. So I definitely wouldn't want to be seated in there or try to eat in there. They have the gaming machines right on the bar top, which I think is weird for a steakhouse. I know it's Vegas, everybody has gaming machines. If I'm eating a steak, I don't want to be working around that type of thing. But once you go into like the areas with the booths, there's different rooms with different colors, and it's just old school, really nice, beautiful, huge leather booths. We unfortunately got a table even though I begged for a booth. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. It's tight. You're going to be right up on other people if you're sitting at the tables. They really cram the people in there, and it's amazing how many servers they have working there that get around you and work within the small space with bringing stuff out to your table to cook it in front of you, make it in front of you, and all that stuff, and never really miss a beat.
The service is really incredible. They're very old school in the way that they handle it, the way they approach it, sort of formal, but they're always there. I can't say enough good things about the service. The steak was pretty good. Funny, you ordered crab there and it was at market price. And of course, you said if you have to ask the price, then you shouldn't order it. But I guessed the price and I guessed 100% right. So I'm still proud of myself for that.
I originally said 85 bucks. I thought I'd get like two big crab legs, and it came out three, and it was $120. So, I mean, there's probably enough if you're sharing with a couple people, you could split it up a bit. There's quite a bit of meat. The nice thing is they cut them for you, so you don't have to crack them and dig it all out, which some people maybe enjoy. I don't really want to work for my meal, especially when I'm spending over $100 for it. It was good. It didn't have any fishy taste to it or anything. It was really good crab. That was good. And then we got twice baked potatoes, which were awesome, recommended by the server. And I thought those were really good too.
And I had the ribeye, which I shared with a friend. All good. Golden Steer, very pricey. That's not a surprise to anybody out there. If I had to choose between Golden Steer and Oscars, it's a close win for Oscars, in my opinion. But I love the old school. I love the tableside Caesar salad. We didn't order that, but we watched other people do it. And they did a great job there. Service, everything was top notch as expected. The Mint Bar next door.
You don't want to talk about your wedge salad and how cool it looked when it came out?
Yeah, my wedge salad was really good. What stood out about my wedge salad to you?
I don't know. It's just
wedge salad.
It was yeah, but the way they set it up, I thought it was kind of cool on the plate and all that. And
I will say, $22 for the tableside Caesar salad versus $14 for the wedge. That wedge was great, and I would order that every single time. I love the show tableside, but you can get that elsewhere. I can get that at primarily prime rib at the South Point for a lot less money. But yeah, I love that wedge. If you like wedge salads, this is very, very in the weeds here. But if you like wedge salads, good to go there. Now, what about the Mint? You like that bar next door? This place is old school. I used to go sing karaoke there back in the day. I forget what it was called, but in the last few years, they adopted this Mint name, which of course comes from downtown Las Vegas, part of what's now Binion's. And what a neat place.
Great industry bar is what the bartender called it, because we went there at like 5 p.m., a little bit before 5 p.m. There's only 2 or 3 other people in there. So it was just kind of a laid back vibe. And he's like, yeah, it gets busy at night when all the servers and bartenders and waiters, all that stuff get done at other bars and restaurants. They come here to have fun, and they have this separate room off to the side of the bar that they do like a strip bingo or something weird, and that's where you used to sing karaoke. So I think they use that room for fun stuff later at night. And I like the bar. I definitely would hang out there. If I wanted to go somewhere and just kind of chill with some buddies and be able to talk and not have loud music bumping in my ear the whole time, I think that bar was perfect.
A nice place for a drink before Golden Steer too, if you don't want to deal with the hectic bar there, because it's so crowded in there. And then finally we went to Sand Dollar, the world famous Sand Dollar Lounge, which is near Chinatown. And I had seen this place on Bar Rescue many years ago. Of course, a year or two ago at Plaza, they opened a sister venue, Sand Dollar Downtown. But this is the OG Sand Dollar, a live band every night at 10 o'clock, mystery beers. I love this place.
Yeah, this place is amazing. Like if you like dive bars or you like live music, You definitely want to go check it out. I think the only bar above in Vegas is Silver Stamp. I like that one a little bit more. Just feels a little bit more homey. But if I'm going somewhere and I want to have a really good time, I'll go talk and hang out at Silver Stamp. But this is the bar that you go to party. I mean, so much so that when I ordered a can of beer, they pierced it so that it would flow smoothly. I've never seen that at a bar anywhere before. They have the beer machine, as Sean said, a $5 mystery beer where they were spitting out like 12% beers and crazy stuff like that. But they also have some lower end beers that you can get right from the machine for $5 if you don't want to wait in line at the bar. I think that's genius. And then Montucky, $5 cans, all that stuff. They had a beer. We can't really say it. Maybe Sean will just show the video right here of what the name of it is on draft. I think it was MGD. I wonder if that's like a rotating beer, whatever cheap, a generic beer they throw in there. But they had a good draft selection as well. And man, people watching is out of this world, at least for the band we saw.
Yeah, the band we saw was a Grateful Dead tribute band. Although I don't know that they were playing a ton of Grateful Dead music, but they riffed forever. So you're talking 10-minute plus songs. And when we got there, it was, an hour and a half before the band got there. So we sat kind of in the middle of where the dance floor was. We sat at the front tables, and then all the dancers enveloped us to the point where they were almost dancing on our laps at certain points. And they were doing the funkiest dances. Is that a Grateful Dead thing where Grateful Dead fans do these weird, funky dances? Because I've never seen anything like it, and I was all about it. I loved it.
It was very 70s. Like, even there was one older gentleman dancing, looked like he came right from the 70s. His clothes, his sideburns, his hair, everything looked like exactly like you envision the 70s being. It was pretty amazing. But there was a wide range of people. We saw people on the dance floor in their 22, 23, all the way up to 65, 70. So it was all different, kinds of people, all different generations. It was really cool to see something you don't really see on the strip anywhere, just kind of like a melting pot of people looking to have a good time. And if I lived in Vegas, I'd probably go there, at least one Friday night a month, check out the band, get a pizza, have some cheap beers. It's a really good time. No cover. We can't say that enough. There's no cover. That's crazy.
It is crazy, and you can tip the band, and we did. It was a great time. It's basically in Chinatown or right next to it. So if you visit Las Vegas and haven't been to that area, Area 15 is on that side of the freeway. You have Golden Tiki. There's tons of restaurants, hundreds of amazing restaurants, and the Sand Dollar. So there you go. You can get all of that. Leave the strip, go on Spring Mountain, see this place. So what was your takeaways from this? Are you glad you came out for the Super Bowl, even if your Lions weren't playing?
Yeah, I'm glad I came out. The first one in Vegas, kind of cool to be a part of that and see what it was like. It was the weekend was a bit more corporate-y than I imagined, because you think Super Bowl Vegas, just gonna be people partying, like groups of friends, fans from all the teams, plus the two playing in the Super Bowl. Like if you go to a Super Bowl city for the Super Bowl, a lot of corporate stuff versus the party atmosphere that you probably get on a normal Super Bowl weekend in Vegas. So I don't know that I'd go back again if Vegas is hosting the Super Bowl unless my team's in it, but I definitely would want to go back for a regular Super Bowl when it's not in Vegas. I think that would be a totally different vibe. But it was cool to see everything, lively. Once Saturday rolled around, it got a lot busier. Sunday was pretty crazy even before I left, and then it just got crazier as the night went on. I think it was worth it. It's pricey, but you get to say you check it off your bucket list, I guess.
And we made it through this entire video without you complaining about Fontainebleau Sportsbook. So congratulations to you. You're growing as a person.
The worst.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about. Your impressions of Fontainebleau. Do you agree with Mark? What we said about Conrad, Bagelmania, the Mint, Golden Steer, and the Sand Dollar, all of that stuff. Hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and sometimes a bonus show like this one on Sundays. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good Sunday, everybody.